Bernard here. I hope you're all well and welcome to my film and TV channel. And today for you we have a movie review. And the review is 109 minutes. It's an adventure science fiction-y comedy family orientated, and it's called Love and Monsters. Please, if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe button, push the bell notification so you know when these vlogs are coming out. Make sure your notifications are set to public, and please, all your comments are welcome. Any thoughts on what I say, or you've watched this film and you've got your own opinions, please share them with me. That'd be absolutely fantastic. And if you don't have time to leave a comment, just give us a thumbs up. That's great, just so I know you're out there, because it's nice to get views, etc. But it's lovely to get thumbs up as well, that you've acknowledged you've watched it, and I hope to entertain and inform as I'm going through with these. Right, Love and Monsters. Yeah, quite long, 109 minutes for a family adventure. And yes, let's see if it's capable of holding it for that sort of length of time. It's Sean Levy and Dan Cohen served as producers on this, and it's a post-apocalyptic action film. Say that when you've had a few beers. Directed by Michael Matthews. The film stars Dylan O'Brien, Michael Rooker, Ariana Greenblatt and Jessica Henwick. Yeah, a couple of familiar faces to me anyway. And it's released by Paramount. Paramount Pictures released this. And what's it about? Well, 7 years after the monster apocalypse, there's another one that you have managed to get out without a problem. Joel Dawson, played by Dylan O'Brien, along with the rest of humanity, has been living underground ever since giant creatures took control of the land. After reconnecting over radio with his high school girlfriend Amy, played by Jessica Henwick, who is now 80 miles away. I thought she was now 80 then. I thought she's not aged very well, has she? 80 miles away at a coastal colony, Joel begins to fall for her all over again. As Joel realises there's nothing left for him underground, he decides against all logic to venture out to Amy, despite the dangerous monsters that stand in his way and the fact no one else is even doing it, or even the Army and the Navy and the Royal Air Force seem to give up, but he's going to do it on his own. Is it any good? Well, Rotten Tomatoes, he's got an approval rating, a positivity rating of 90%. That's quite good. That's based on 29 critics' reviews. That's 26 fresh and 3 rotten if you look at Rotten Tomatoes. It has an average rating of 6.1 out of 10. So again, a good healthy score, 6.1 out of 10, up towards the 7, which is usually very, very good. The audience on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't have any figures for how many people left a score, but that stands at 97% positivity. So very, very high on that. The Rotten Tomatoes website consensus reads, led by a charming star turn from Dylan O'Brien, Love and Monsters peers into the apocalypse and finds an action adventure with surprising emotional depth. There you go. Metacritic, the critics, has a weighted average of just 54 out of 100, so they weren't as enamoured as Rotten Tomatoes. And that's just 8 critics, so it's not a lot, but it's only getting 3 positive reviews and 5 mixed, so not totally negative, but not great either. It's got a user score on Metacritic, people who log onto that site and leave their own scores, of 7.8 out of 10. So again, they appear to like it. It scores anywhere between 4.2 out of 10 and 7.5 out of 10 with the critics. Los Angeles Times' Noel Murray, he only gave it 5 out of 10, one of the lower scores. He went on to say, while it's well acted and slickly made, the movie's derivative qualities, coupled with its inadvertent reminders of how crummy everything is outside our doors right now, make it less fun than intended. The light-hearted tone is often grating, working against the inherent drama of a world dominated by giant critters. Screen Rant's Molly Freeman, well, she was a bit happier. She gave it 6 out of 10 and said, Love and Monsters may not be a wholly fresh concept, but a clever script and Dylan O'Brien's charm make for a super fun adventure comedy. I didn't laugh much with this, I must admit. I didn't find it overly funny. It was a maybe smile once or twice, but not funny. The New York Times' Lovia Giarki gave it 7 out of 10, liked it one of the most. Love and Monsters lacks the self-seriousness of typical dystopian flicks, but despite its surprisingly perfunctory title and relatively thin plot, it doesn't completely lack depth. So there you go. Internet Movie Database, Joe Public, you and me. There's literally almost 1,000 people watched this from a couple of days ago to this morning when I checked, and it's over 2,000 ratings on there now. It's just getting a very, very healthy score of 7.2 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database, which is a really good score. Some of the pros, I'll give you the pros and cons. Some of the pros comments: I hope the apocalypse is this fun. It's not the most expensive movie or the best plot, but honestly, this movie gives me flashbacks to the good old days of family adventure movies. Yeah, oh, please, another Goonies, anytime, please. Goonies. Fun film to see for all the family. Quite enjoyable piece of entertainment. It's got adventure, comedy, action, and mainly monsters, so what are you waiting for? And the final comment on the pros, a monster road trip movie. The cons, the cons, not as many when you look at the actual reviews themselves, that people actually bother to write a review as opposed to just leaving a score. The cons, writing was so immature and uncreative, even the jokes were bad. Yeah, well, I don't disagree with that element of it. This movie is aimed at kids and teens, it is. I'm not. But the story is boring and predictable. Some of the monsters looked realistic, whereas few are bad CGI. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a moment. Looks great, lovely effects, but not scary or particularly thrilling. Is it supposed to be scary? I suppose there's supposed to be jeopardy in it. It all felt too safe, no threat, and overly long. So that was another con. So there's some of the cons. Right, my little thoughts, Bernard's thoughts on this. As I say, I'm not in the demographic either, but I like a good adventure film, family adventure film, or I like a good monster. Who doesn't? And there's certainly a lot more positives from the audience than there is negatives, and you can see by the scores it is quite well liked. I mean, it's a sort of obviously because some of the location shots, etc. Walking Dead for the family. You know, you've got burnt out places, you've got school buses with all foliage growing on them, so it's very much a Walking Dead for the family. Although I sort of did expect at times to see a zombie or two popping out, but by halfway through, but by halfway through I was a little bit disappointed that they hadn't popped out. I was just hoping for the odd zombie rather than these weird looking insects, mainly insects and sea creatures, obviously, that have grown to magnificent sizes and not very pretty. I did enjoy the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but I did get a little bit bored as the road trip started, to be honest with you. There was a little friendly dog. I'm not a big dog fan, but the dog was okay. And there was a little girl who came into it, and I found her pretty annoying rather than cute, unfortunately. So you know me, I don't give much shrift to these characters. I didn't find anything to like about her. I thought she was a little bit annoying, which is a shame. My apologies to the young lady who played that role. I mean, she's only playing a role, isn't she? But fortunately, she's not there for the whole trip, so she does come in for it for a while and then does a brief appearance at the end. So I didn't have to suffer her for long anyway. It does improve again as it works through, as it sort of gets to the end of the road trip, as it gets to the actual the aim of the whole film in the first place. And again, for the last 15 to 20 minutes, and there's a great action sequence at the end, and it reminded me of a modern day Jason and the Argonauts beach scene, or Clash of the Titans on the beach with the monsters, if you remember those. It did remind me a little bit of that, and it was a good ending. Although some of the characters that came into it late on weren't the most convincing acting wise, etc. But so and even the end after that, it made me forget that the film had dragged a little bit. So I had a good start and a good end. It sort of made me forget a little bit how much I didn't really think the middle of the film was that great. So at least it did that. It sort of at least it started well and it ended well. So I didn't have a bad taste in my mouth after it had finished. Definitely aimed at a younger audience, of course it is. I mean, I can put my young head on and have a look at these things, but at times, even for a younger audience, there's not that much happening. And 109 minutes, probably knock off 10 minutes for credits, etc. It's just too long. It's just too long. 109 minutes should have been an hour and 20, probably 80 minutes at tops. Acting was okay. There's a couple of dodgy accents later on. Someone commented, didn't they, early on, that the CGI was a bit hit and miss, but I thought it was pretty good throughout, to be honest with you. I was quite impressed. I mean, my eyes weren't glued to the screen 100%, but obviously, for what I didn't see there were any big problems with that. I thought the CGI was quite believable, quite good. When you could talk about giant cockroaches and things like this, it's obviously not bad at all, and little variations on that. So overall, a really good start, a really good end, but something missing in the middle that would appeal perhaps to younger and older watchers, you know, family watchers. But if you're in a family watching it, perhaps you'd have a little chat, and so it sort of glaze over that sort of middle 40-50 minutes, if you like, where it got a little bit slow and a little bit predictable. But it was a really good, if you like, potential for a really good family adventure. Unfortunately, it's not quite up there as well enough to be very, very memorable, and it'd be soon forgotten. It's certainly not a Goonies, that's for sure. Although, as I said, the start and the finish, so there's about 40 minutes of it that was quite really good and interesting, but it does lack a little bit. It does run out of steam, unfortunately, before it regains its power towards the end. But yeah, it's not going to live long in the memory. I'm sure the younger kids might enjoy watching it again for some of the creatures, etc. They might watch it more than once. I don't have any ambition to watch it more than once. I do watch a good film many times if it is a good film, but I doubt it. I'll probably dig out an old copy of Goonies or something rather than watch this again, to be honest with you. Anyway, I'm not going to be overly mean on the score, because I do appreciate a lot of people like this, and for what it is and for a younger audience, it's not bad. So I'm going to give it my basic watchable rating, Bernard's MGN rating of just 6 out of 10, which is my watchable score. The poster, yeah, it's all right. That poster, I mean, it's, if you're looking for a kids' room, and obviously if they like it and they like that sort of thing, then yeah, I think the poster's great, and more so obviously if you like the actors as well. So there's nothing wrong with the poster. So I think the poster says it all, really. I think the poster's a lot better than the film. In fact, yeah, I wouldn't mind that up on the back of me as well, you know. So I'm going to give the poster a 7 out of 10. So I'm going to give the poster victory today on what's better, the poster or the movie. I'll give the poster victory on 7 out of 10, and I'll give the movie 6 out of 10. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know in the links what you think if you get to watch this, or anything you can think of while I've been chatting through this. That'll be most appreciated. Please check my links on screen. If you follow or friend me on Facebook or Twitter, I check every couple of days and follow and friend you back, and if you're after followers, etc. So I'll do that, and I post stuff on Twitter and Facebook that I don't necessarily put on these vlogs that might be of interest to you, football-wise, obviously, and TV, film-wise. And if you check out my website, moviegamenostalgia.com, for old rare DVDs, movie posters from the 90s and 2000s, and board games, that'll be absolutely fantastic. And as I said and just mentioned then, if you check the playlist, I do vlogs on my football team, Manchester City. So I do city history vlogs, stuff that's happened in our wonderful history, and obviously stuff that's happening now. I do city past and city present. So if you or you know anyone who might be interested in that, please point them in my direction. I'll be very appreciative. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Until you join me again, another movie or TV drama review, or even join in with one of the quizzes, please look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. And I'll see you all again very soon. Stay safe, everybody. Bird is saying goodbye for now. Bye-bye.